presentation?
will give you, we have 141 signatures against the Phillips Street project. I don't know that it will matter to any of you. First of all, I would like to ask a question. Your 3 meetings you had, you said, one, you had to get something taken care of by Monday.
Yeah, it was
For the sales tax.
for the sales tax.
What
two
were the
items.
other 2?
The other one was the sewer. The sewer rate increase, because we couldn't have.
Oh,
water.
because you had done the water bill and
we
hadn't
messed
done
up on
the
the water.
sewer.
We messed up on that, so we didn't have it there. So.
One thing that was proposed on the Phillips Street project was to take care of speeders. And Mr. Emerson said he had the information that there was only 1 speeder ticket given for every 67 days. So I would say speeding is not a real problem on Phillips Street.
No, I'm with you.
And I still don't agree with the beautification project. And the street isn't bad. There are other streets. One street is Arch Street that is a danger. It is so narrow, and the traffic that's on it.
That is on our list, and but contrary to what you think or believe, Phillips, we're going to have to put a lot of money into Phillips sooner or later. So it's cracking and everything else. So.
Perhaps so.
Yeah. But I appreciate your comment.
But I think honestly the only reason is because in order to get the grant money to do Phillips Street, it had to be classed as a beautification. I believe that's what you told me.
Well, yeah, it was beautification grant, and it can only be used for that specific thing. So
now there have been 3 different amounts given. The paper, one said 120,000, one said 80,000. The last time we talked, you said 60 or 62.
well, there's a
What does the city? What's the proposal?
what
that
the
it's
city
going
would
to
wind up,
cost?
buddy. What do you have on that?
On Schedule A, on the projects, it's $101,845.50. Our portion is between 16 and 17%, so it'd be around 18,000 out of the 101,000 that we would be responsible for there for the median. Around 18,000 out of the 101,845.
Well, then we're 18,000.
Out of the 101, that's our percentage we have to pay. 18%.
Then where did these other figures come from?
And put this way, I wonder that at times.
Well, the mayor told me the other day 60-some thousand. He talked to me on the phone.
Well, I was looking at some different numbers, but I understand where you.
Is this for the whole street or just a section?
For the median.
The whole,
From-
the entire
from
street?
New gym all the way right close to the square.
Yeah. Now I drove it today, and I talked to the chief about it. I'm concerned about the turning radius for buses and things like that. So I want to get with the superintendent and the schools, and we'll take a look at that, because I mean the worst thing that can happen is have a street that you can't turn into or without running over somebody. So, but we're looking at that.
So that's the cost to do the whole street?
The median.
The median.
Oh, not the, not
The grant is for
paving.
the median. The grant is for the median. That's all we can spend that on. And the curbing on the median, that's what that's for.
Could we not just put flower pots up the side of the street, not tear up the street?
Well, the street's going to be torn up anyway sooner or later. But it's not that we've taken a look at this and said, oh, let's just spend this money just because we want to. Part of the idea, we looked at beautification, number 1. Number 2, we looked at speeders. And yeah, you say that there's not a lot of speeders, but I mean there are people that go too fast down the road. And
All
the safety.
over town.
Yeah, you're right. And the safety of our children are most important as far as that goes. But having said all of that, certainly, you know, it's not like we sit here in a dark closet and try to devise ways of wasting money. It's not it at all. Because we certainly, and, you know, I had some concerns about the monies for the street, because the street, department has the least amount of money in it, so, but I mentioned that to, I don't know if I talked to Buddy or someone else today about it, but, so, we're not really, just wanna waste money, that's for sure, but, we definitely wanna make sure that the street is taken care of, because we're gonna have to put curbs anyway, sooner or later. If you're
I
driving
can
up-
understand that. But I think the majority of people are so upset with these grants. No one seems to get it. That's not free money. It's taxpayer money. You keep saying if we don't get it, someone else
Well,
will.
I understand that, but, it's out there. And I'm gonna go for every single penny I can get, because, you've got, renters out there that have HUD grants, or, you know, property owners. So you've got just an enormous amount of monies that the government makes available to citizens and for the cities to make sure that, because towns cannot operate by them on their own with, like we have that $735,000 grant for the 6th Street ditch. We couldn't have fixed it, you know, we would just have to let the people down by the park worry about getting water in their house.
Can I ask how that is going to be fixed? What are we doing to that? Is that gonna
Putting in,
cement it or
yeah,
pipes
it's
or?
it's cemented, and we're gonna put, a new, Buddy, what else?
Culvert at Thorn.
New culverts, yeah.
Culverts at Thorn.
One
Because-
resident that lived down there asked me if it was possible to cement it and cap it, and that would make a sidewalk for the kids.
We're looking at a huge expense there, but, it's gonna be cemented, and then we're gonna have the, riprap on the walls, on the sides, and then, you know, because first year I was here, when we got about 10 or 12 inches of rain, there were houses down on 6th Street that were flooded, and we can't look at them.
The major portion is down by the park, coming toward Thorn Street. That ditch will be larger and can handle more hydraulic flow than it does now, because now it's not really a very large ditch.
So,
Well, I have another question,
Sure.
since you're into beautification so much. You're wanting to clean up the town for businesses. Have all of you driven through Industrial Park? It looks pretty bad, doesn't it?
it's pretty
It's
bad.
terrible.
Yeah, and I will take credit for everything that's happened since 2010. Anything that happened prior to that, you need to talk to someone else. And we can't fix everything yesterday. And, I agree, it needs to be, it's terrible, it's a slum, that's so, but, and we recognize that, but it's on the priority list, it's down there a little bit.
You don't think it should be a top priority in order to get a new business? But you're gonna pretty up Phillips Street.
We're gonna pretty up the whole town.
Well, I think you've got a long way to go.
Well, I know we do, but, you know,
But
the thing-
Phillips Street is one, you all don't understand, that has been, all of us that went to school here, that has been our street. The people that live there don't want it done. I bet 90% of the people that live in this town
well, if they.
don't want it
If,
done.
if they really understand, if you really understand, the plan, if you really understood, now sometimes I may talk too fast, so then I'm gonna have to slow down and make sure, and ask your questions if you understand what I'm saying. But, no, we're not, you know, if you think about it, you know, Phillips Street is just a small piece of the pie. And, we need to get it done. There's
But you're going after it like it's the worst problem in town.
we have three streets priorities, South Arch, Springfield, and Phillips.
Your tourist, people coming into town, North Springfield is one that is really traveled.
That's a state road. So we can't touch state or county roads. So,
Well, I think it wouldn't matter if we had 90% of the people in town signatures. You would still do Phillips
well,
Street.
you know, we it's something that I have to consider. You know, like I said before, one of the things I really take a look at, or I look at more of, is it operational? And if it's not operational, then we'll take a look at, and we have to do something else. But we are gonna have to make sure that we, David, do you have a question? Okay. We're gonna have to make, we're, don't interrupt. One of the things that we have to be sure of is that everybody is on the same page. You know, I know council's on the same page. And I was asked one time that, if I do this, you know, if I say, okay, I'll take this letter and then I will just throw everything else out that the city's done or the council's done. I can't do that. I can't overrule council ordinances and stuff. I can't do that. So, you know, that's very important that people understand. One of the most important things that a citizen has is to educate yourself about the city government. And, you know, and we had a young man that came in. He probably had some basic knowledge of city government, but he educated himself. And we didn't always agree with things that he'd said and done and wrote, but he put in a terrific article in the last Carroll County News. So he learned and he taught himself how to do something. So, but at any rate, we could go on this for a while, and
Yeah.
I appreciate your getting me this information, and we'll certainly take a look. Go.
I am sorry for this whole council. I'm sorry for our town. I just, I
Well, why
think
you're
we're in a sad state right
Why-
now.
Well, it's sad because if people always look in the gloom and doom,
I realize
you
that.
get, I call it stinking thinking. And there's a small portion of stinking thinking now. But, you know, you gotta have vision and know where you wanna go. Okay, Bill?
There's an old saying called penny wise and pound foolish. 49 days from today, you have the most important election in this city, because it can mean $400,000 to $500,000 a year into our coffers. And no matter what they tell you in the Harrison Daily Times, Charlie will agree, I'm for it. I've offered to donate my time and my money because right now I agree with it. But I hate to say this, and I'll be short here. Look around. None of these people knew me. You have awakened a sleeping giant in this town. And I'm afraid, Charlie, even though I'm for it, these people are not going to be for this.
Well, and you know, one of the things that really I like, and thank you very much, Bill, is that get people out, they can hear the accurate story rather than rumors. And I think it's essential that, you know, I'm in my office a lot, and Bill knows that he comes in, we sit and talk. A lot of people come in and sit and talk. I'm there. You want to talk? Come in. So, yes, sir. And your name, sir?
Lindell, Loftus. I have call Green Forest my town. I
Mhm.
don't live in it.
Mhm.
I went to school with a lot of people in this room.
Mhm.
And I commend you all for working for the citizens of this community. It's very commendable, anybody that's willing to do that, put their time and effort into that. But I'm getting older, and I have a big problem. My vision's going.
Mhm.
How is something down the middle of a street that kids traverse every day going to improve the situation for their safety? It's going to put another obstacle in the way of them being seen when they run into the street, when they shouldn't, chase a ball when they
Kids
shouldn't,
are kids.
chase a cat, any reason in the world.
Yeah.
I just don't see, even though it's a beautification project, don't put something down the middle of the street for older people that are already having functioning problems to be able to see. And in any form or fashion, it could cause trouble.
Well, I have to say, your statement makes more sense than any I've heard so far. So thank you.
Well, it's a very true statement.
Yeah.
That's the main reason I'm here.
Good.
I have one other thing I would like to point out to this council, and I hope that maybe through their lawyer or through somebody, they can figure out somehow to change something that I think needs to be changed. There's a lot of people that work in this town and have businesses in this town, pay taxes on property in this town, but they have no vote in this town.
Oh, you mean the,
Business people.
okay, they don't live in the city limits.
They don't live in the city, and yet they work here, they provide employment for people here, and they do a lot of work for the city. Anytime the school needs something, that's where they go. The first thing is call on the businesses in town.
No, you're right. And Brad, I believe that's a state, law, isn't it?
Well, I think you can make a call.
Yeah.
You've got representatives as well as I,
Yeah.
and you can say, bend their ear, let's change something here. Maybe make a elected council member out of a chamber or something like that. Give them a vote in what goes on in the town that they do support and do try to strengthen and beautify.
Good. I know Brad will probably check with, the senator and legislators just to make sure that everything's going. Pat?
Just to nail down a figure here or two, Betty mentioned that the city's part of the median, whatever we call it,
Yeah.
would be 18,000.
Approximate, it's 16.
Why did we initially request a $675,000 grant to do this?
It was the best guess.
It was for the whole project up and down. We tried to get them to pay for the curbing and paving everything, and they came back with 105, just for the median.
Okay, and
We tried everything.
At Monday night's council meeting, the city's share was gonna be 25,000. After this,
Yeah, I don't think 25 came out of my mouth. I said between 16 and 70% of the project will be ours, whatever for those people obvious, when we say 125, our portion is 25. When you say 101, that goes down and changes, so it really depends on what the project, what that part of the project actually costs. But it is between 16 and 17%.
okay,
That's a
but ever since we talked about this, when we didn't, the city, the night they got the 125 grant kick in, I thought it was 30, but apparently it's 25,000. So we could do part of it, or do a portion of it. Okay, that's 25.
Well, but then there's still, it depends on the.
That's
that-
just-
this depends on the bid and the price that we're quoted.
We have a
They
bid
said they would
price
do-
already, though.
They said they would do a max of 125 if we put in 25. And our percentage goes down. If it doesn't cost 125, say it's 101, our portion goes down.
So
our
the city,
percentage goes down.
the monies were not transferred
No,
after that meeting?
No,
And do they come from the general fund or street fund?
street fund.
Okay. So the figure was 25,000 on Monday night, and
It was
then
a little high.
the special meeting, there was emergency and Friday afternoon, it went from 25 to 82,000. Am I correct in my figures?
That's for the whole project, isn't it?
But what we're paying for,
Well, the whole project, for the median part is 101,000 for the median. our percentage is between 16 and 17% of that 101,000.
The vote was to pay both sides. The
Yeah.
Well, that's not part of the grant, that's the other part of the project.
I know you spent all morning writing those 2 pages of grant application, so forget the grant, we really
Well-
gotta send it back.
The other percentage for the other one was,
We need
Schedule
dollar
B
figures,
is,
but
Schedule
yes.
B was 110,
Well, I'll tell you
214
what
for
we'll
the
do.
curbing on the sides and the paving.
Now, my question is, did or didn't we at a special 3-time vote meeting add $67,000 to the city's cost of the project approximately?
I don't recall. I'll have to listen to the recorder, but,
We just approved the minutes. Do any of the council people?
They don't know.
Y'all aren't just eye candy, you're supposed to help us out here.
but I tell you what, rather than, spending time on that, why don't you come by the office tomorrow?
No, we just like an honest answer, because we've heard, we've
So
not
your
heard it yet
implication
tonight.
is that we're lying about it?
The implication is we have trouble getting a straightforward answer.
You just
Did
got
or
one.
didn't you, $67,000 on a special Friday afternoon meeting with 3, what was the emergency? What deemed that?
It had to be in the courthouse by Monday.
What, that's the sales tax and the other thing, this
Yeah.
had nothing to do with it.
Well, we did everything that day. Why have another special meeting?
Well, why not do it like the law says to do it, vote on it this time, vote the second reading the next meeting?
That wasn't this is not an ordinance. This is just a bid. Remember,
You're moving money from here to there, it doesn't require any kind of discussion.
no, we haven't moved any monies. Tell you what, like I said, one of the most important pieces is education, learning about this.
What's an emergency, please? What caused that to be needed to be voted in January?
Because we were here and we decided to do it.
Doesn't that kind of cry wolf?
No?
Charlie, when I talked to you on the phone, you quoted $60-some thousand to me for the project, for the city.
I don't remember. But I can double check.
We have an exact bid, 212,000.
Well, we do, yes, we do.
Where's that gonna come from? What percentage is that?
It's gonna come from the grant and it's gonna come from the city.
So 212 minus 125 equals what it's gonna cost us.
Yeah, I think it will.
No. Okay, they said they would pay a maximum of $125,000 for the medium if we put in 120, we put 25 in, so that's 150 total. The bids came in for the median all the way through at 101,000. So basically, we don't have to put in 25,000. We'll put a lesser percentage in because the total is lower for the project doing the medium. So it's
Do
between.
they
60 and
know
70.
we haven't done our part yet? They know we've not set
We've not,
aside
we've not
our
got to do anything.
We haven't done anything.
They know, they've been step by step through the whole process, the bid process, everything. But they know that the bid came in low, so later on, if we decide to do something with the other funds we didn't use, we can continue to do more with the funds.
Okay, ma'am?
My name's Susan Trusty,
Hi, Susan.
and this is my first council meeting, but I do have something I would like to ask. Being that this situation is obviously causing a dissension among the city and among the constituency of the city, is there some reason why it just can't be put to a vote of the people and let the people decide if they want this beautification? I just like to know why we can't have a say in it.
Well, you've got to say, you're here.
Yeah, but as a voting constituency, why we can't decide what happens to the city we live in and that we have to be in.
Amen.
Well,
That's all my
yeah,
question
no, I
is, why
understand.
not?
It's a little more complicated than that, but,
Why? You put it on a ballot and you put it
you know how
on
much
the,
the ballot's gonna cost?
Well, if I may, to me, one suggestion I would make is this, and I'm just the attorney, I don't have a right to make law, do
Right.
I'll just tell you what it says. First of all, the vote you get is when you vote for them.
that
Yeah,
works, except
and then
they're
the-
not
and then-
representing
And
everybody.
the other problem we have is that they are given power by the Constitution of the state
Right.
and by the state legislature to carry out what the mandates are for running the city. Part of that is exactly what they're doing. part of maintaining the roads and the infrastructure, etc. If you start putting if you build number one, I don't even think you could do it legally because, I mean, it is a republic, so you're, you know, therefore it's a representative form of democracy, so you're kind of stuck with the people you put up for yourselves. And it's not perfect because it's not agile. It doesn't move quickly, so it'll never be completely perfect, you know, accepting that. The other thing too, though, is that the process that you talk about getting into, if you really start talking about calling special elections on everything and putting it to a vote, I'm just telling you, I think that I'm not running too far afoul when I say that would cost you an extraordinary amount of money, and that could
Would it be over $87,000?
I have no idea.
Well, you know it wouldn't. It wouldn't. The other one's 4,000. How can this be 80? Even if it fails, we're still saving $83,000.
Well, I mean, that's up to you. If you want the law changed, talk to your legislature and change it. But I
No.
mean, you know,
If he can
no,
have a special
what I'm
election.
saying though is like, the general question she asked was why it could not be put to a vote. I'll leave the rest up to them because I'm not on the council.
Okay.
But legally speaking, the reason it can't be put up to the vote is because of the nature of the government that you have at the state level. I think everyone here would give me that this is a representative democracy. It's a republic. Therefore, you're stuck with that. You're also stuck with what your state constitution says and how it gives its grants to municipalities and lower forms of government. First thing the statute says in general is that every lower division of government gets its power from the state.
My question is, if we put it up for a vote, just saying, do we have to accept this grant, and the people voted 95% no, we don't have to accept that grant, do we? There's no law says you have to accept a grant.
There's no law that I know that says you have to accept a grant.
Good. Well, that's what they're trying to, that's what they're trying to tell you. 90% of maybe it's not 90, but 60% of the people don't want this.
She asked a general legal
I
question
know,
about why we don't have everything for an election.
We
And the
understand
reason
that.
we don't have everything for an election.
I understand that, we all understand that now.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, then you would give me, you don't think it'd break the city if you put everything to an election?
We're spending $87,000 on this.
I'm not talking about a one-time
On
election.
an
I'm
airport,
talking about
we're not
why
talking
we
about-
have-
we're talking about
why
one
we have
election.
The principle that we have.
Okay.
And we're talking about the
one
law
election.
won't let you do,
We're talking about one election.
and I don't think the law will let you do.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Melody Strodeman, and have we factored in the costs of maintaining this median?
Well, we've got our street employees anyway, they're gonna be in the park, so they'll be there.
We're gonna maintain it.
It would cost something, but not a great deal. Yes, sir.
I wanted to say thank you for taking our questions. It's my respect to the council and to you as a mayor. I know you may have reservations about taking questions from the general public because they may or may not put us in a bad situation. But I know there's a lot of grumblings and people here are really wanting to ask questions. And I want to say thank you for taking our questions.
Well, I've never been afraid of talk. One of the things that I have been told is that maybe I talk too much, but I will talk to anyone about anything. So, you know, as long as people aren't disrespectful, then we can move on. Thank you, sir.
Can I say something else? I think our city council, are they not supposed to do the will of the people?
Well, they are, but there's one thing I want to be careful about saying that, is that I think there's sort of a false premise that that's the question's predicated on. That would mean that you're implying that you are all of the people. And respectfully, I would submit that there are many
No.
people in other wards and districts that voted these people onto the council. And whether or not they're here, that to me is an expression of their will. And it's the only one it's the only one anyone has to go on, really, is how people vote.
But,
Can I answer, Charlie?
Sure.
And anytime he wants to come by and talk about the figures of the grant, you can come by my office. I said in the last meeting, come by, I will show you the dollar figures, we'll put on the calculator and show you how it actually works and how it breaks down percentage wise. So,
That'd be a good thing. Carlin, you had something?
No, my question was asked and answered.
Okay.
And I'm just really, getting the feeling that there's not a person in this room on this side of the thing up there that's intelligent enough to talk to you or your attorney, so I think we're just kind of wasting our time.
Yeah, I don't know where you got that idea, but
Well, the way you talk to us like we're third graders, because we cannot understand the machinations of government.
No, I mean,
Sorry, Charles, but I took Green Forest School just like you did.
I think it's very important that in order to speak to issues,
tried very hard to do that, especially on this particular issue.
Well, good. I mean, the information's out there.
I just still can't understand, we've had 4 discussions on the amount of money that the city is gonna have to come up with to complete the project, not just the median. And to my understanding, I've read so many different figures in the media that the last figure that I came up with was $87,000. Is that correct? Close to correct.
I didn't know.
But
For the
is it-
medium?
For the whole project. The project.
The project, the total project,
We
what it's
got-
gonna cost the
we
city
got
is
it large.
$87,000, is that correct?
How much, I beg your pardon?
I'm getting. Schedule B
bid.
is 110,214. If, and approximate as far as the percentage of the 101,000 being 16 or 70%, you add another 18,000 to that. So you have, say 128,214 approximate. I haven't got a calculator in front of me.
Buddy, we added to the project at the special meeting, we added paving up and down the street.
Well, that is Schedule B. That's part of the,
Add A and B and
110,214
when we go.
is the paving on, and the curbing on the sides. The 101 is the medium, and of the 101, 18,000 approximate is ours.
The only
Yeah, that's
number that
110.
matters is the bid, you got bid $212,000, that's
Yeah,
what.
but the state pays
125.
a large portion of the 101,000. Anyway, like I said, if you wanna come by the office,
Reverend Evans?
I think what I'm hearing is there's some confusion about the project, right, you know, is there. Buddy and the mayor and the council are presenting to us the cost for the medium strip. You're concerned not just about the cost of the medium strip, but the entire project.
That's right, exactly.
Talking about our tax dollars.
And so what's happening is from the medium strip portion of our expense, if we accept the grant, is $18,000, just for the medium. Now, we also, as citizens, have to pay out of our coffers from our city street to do the rest of the project. That's what you're concerned for.
Yes.
The spending of the money for the rest of the project on this one particular street through town.
Not particularly just that.
like the idea of a median.
We just really do believe that many other streets in town
Yes.
could use a portion of that. I'm gonna say 87,000 because that keeps being the figure that I keep reading. Do you understand what
Yeah,
I'm
no, I
saying?
understand. What's happening though, if we took the medium strip out of the picture, just take that completely out of the picture,
Yes.
we still have about, what, Buddy, what, $90,000, $100,000
Well,
to
it would be 110, it'd be 110 plus a little bit more asphalt.
Yeah. Pay for that.
About $100,000 to pay and
Right.
repave that street.
Without
Yeah.
the median, without the median
Without the
strip that you're
beautification
concerned about.
issue.
But still, as for the council, and I'm hearing to say, is that the 87,000 or 100,000, whatever it is, to fix that one street up in good shape, they're saying, why can't we use some of that money to fix some of these other spots in town? We don't have to fix this
That are-
particular street
The
right
other,
now.
the other streets are far worse.
Yeah. So that's where I think the contention comes in, is how the money is being spent.
Well, yeah, I understand that, and, you know, we're not gonna, solve that tonight. Yes, ma'am?
You said that this is for beautification, right? Okay. I had 15 people come to my house for a funeral here in the last month. They didn't travel down Phillip Street. They went right down the main street of town. You wanna beautify that. I got 6 families that wants to move back here, and they don't like this town
Yeah,
because of Main Street.
well, that Main Street's a US highway. We can't really do much on that.
Beautify the sides.
Work on the buildings,
Well, that's
on
a-
the
that's a-
building, north side.
Let's just have a civil conversation, okay?
But what I'm trying to say is, why not beautify something that everybody's gonna see? Going down to that school is not the only street in Green Forest.
Well, it's not, absolutely. Now, there's, some things that, you know, if you look at, some of the buildings on Main Street, yeah, they need to be worked on.
That's right.
Are they dilapidated to the point of really causing issues? Not really,
What
but,
about all around the square?
yeah,
Can't we go around the square,
Can I say something?
beautify it?
On May 4th, we're gonna have a fundraiser at the city park for the library, and everybody's welcome to come. It's gonna be like $6 a plate for front of the library, they bought the property to the east side, and that should fix that portion of the, part of the square on Main Street. May 4th.
May 4th. Okay, we're not gonna, yes,
But
ma'am.
what I was trying to get at is, Phillip Street is not the only street in town.
Oh, I understand.
Do your beautification where more people that come to this town sees and wants to come back to this town.
No, I'm with you. There's some things we can do, some things we can't.
Well, yeah, but you can go around the square, that's not city, that's not state highway, is it?
I
Get the
mean,
whole square
the
straightened.
square, well, we've done work on the square.
Not all the buildings.
Not all the buildings.
Because we can't really go in and fix the building. We can't do it, we can't.
Well, you just got through saying you wanted to put lights up and you wanted to do
Oh,
all that.
absolutely, but
Isn't that beautification?
that happens, that has to, the people that own the buildings have to contribute to that.
So this money can't go for that kind of.
No,
Can this money go for refurbishing, making the park better?
no.
It can't go for that. Only Phillip Street's all it's good for. Okay. So there's no sense talking anymore about it. That's all we can use it for.
Okay, ma'am, another?
One thing I would like to mention, and I know this is piddly diddly and it's a year away,
Yeah.
but I really think it really looks very poorly on our community when the street lights that are put up at Christmas time don't even light up anymore. The center banner that goes across Main Street doesn't even light up
When
anymore.
did that happen?
It hasn't for the last 3 years.
Okay. Well, let me know.
It
We'll get
looks pitiful.
Well, let me know, we'll get it fixed. I'm close as the phone. Okay, there's one other person over here that hasn't talked, Pat. Yes, Dawn?
I just wanna know which part of the street improvement was passed in the emergency clause, the emergency hearing that you had on the 25th. Did
No.
you do just the median or the whole road? Was that what you voted on, or just the median?
It was the whole thing.
It was the whole thing.
So
but
the
it's-
87,000
it's
covers
not-
the whole thing,
Well, it's 212,000 less the grant.
the 101.
Yeah.
So what is the total bid? 212
212.
minus the 101 from the grant. So the 212 minus the 101 is going to be what the city's going to get.
Yeah.
Like I said, well,
That's 100,000.
That's 100,000.
110,000. The paving in the curb was 110,000, and you had the 18 to that, and that's what the total of our costs would be.
Well, good. Well, you put it very succinctly. Yes, sir.
May I ask the council members, you know, we voted for you to take our interest, and I think 3 or 4 of you voted in favor of this project. And I would like for the council members to speak on why they approved or disapproved of this project, each one.
Amen.
Amen, that's a good idea, Barry.
I approved of it because on 90% of the time when new business is coming into town, if they got kids, I mean, they're gonna go down to the school. I'm telling you, I mean Rogers, everywhere, they're all doing beautification around down the school roads. I mean, and that was my point of it, was to try to get new business owners in, and, you know, to put the median down through there would be, you know, it would look good to go down to the school. You know, I never put in perspective of the vision problem and different things like that, and that's something that we definitely gotta look into, you know, I mean, before it's completely done, you know. But,
Are you for it now?
well, we'll have to look into it. I mean, we're gonna have to make sure that the road's gonna be, I mean, like he said, on buses going in there, I mean, that's something to look at.
Something that I never thought about, and I'll just tell you, is Patty's deal about the industrial park, because if a big business comes here, they're not gonna be a mom and pop store like we are around the street. They'll be out at that industrial park with a big place. I never thought of that before, and I thank you for that, Patty.
And I kind of make one comment. You know, we're talking about getting business in the city, and everybody's concerned about getting business in the city. Get with the Chamber of Commerce. That's really their function.
I'm a board member on the chamber.
Yeah, and like I said, get really involved with the chamber. I don't know how many got here that are on the chamber, but that's an excellent organization to be able to reach out to businesses. There's some perks we can do, but like I said, the chamber has to work with the city to draw industry in, and that's
Would
really
somebody else
important.
take the question, please?
Yeah, you wanna do it? Oh, she didn't vote on it, okay.
Well, I think
Okay, wait, so what was that, Mayor? She didn't vote on the,
she voted no.
she voted against it.
That's
Phillips
not
voted
true.
against it.
I was
She
here.
voted.
Yeah, she did. She voted no.
It's in the paper for it.
It's in the minutes here that we
In the minutes.
So you voted against no, Pam? Was that what you?
And you're still a no vote?
Is Phillips in your ward?
Is that in your ward?
Yes.
You voted the will of your ward, and I commend you for that.
I do too.
Cody? Mr. Bourne?
Honestly, I mean, I did vote in yes in favor of it, but, I mean, I've heard too many negatives, and I was just sitting here telling Will that we are representative of the people. And I have heard too many negatives of the project and not enough positives of the project from the people. So, I mean, as of now, I am no vote.
Thank you.
Go, Will.
Well, you hear realtors, that when they're trying to sell a home, a lot of people that are moving in have younger children, and they always wanna know how the school, you know, what the school is like and everything. So yes, I know that how it looks on the way to school is important. I also heard the, chief of police say that a median would slow things down and that it would be, you know, a good, safety factor for the children. And also, we've had, at one chamber dinner, there was a man from the state that came up and he gave a really great presentation on before and after of beautification. And, you know, for years we've been talking about how to make things look better, and really and truly, I felt, and when we discussed it, at different meetings for the last year, that a median would be beautiful and would make the city look better. You know, the consideration about, vision and eyesight, you know, I hadn't even thought of that, so that's something that needs to be talked about and maybe researched. But as far as the width of the street, we've had the engineers say that there's plenty of room, it's not a wide median, it would be, something really pretty to look
How
at.
wide would the median be?
6 to 8 feet.
How wide?
6 to 8.
6 to 8 feet.
No,
Some parts of the
Six.
street are wider. We were looking at 6.
What does that leave us on either side of the drive?
Patty knows.
I'd have to have, I'm not sure.
Actually, they did a measurement, I don't have that with me, but they did a measurement on it, so.
Janice Moore and I measured, and I was thinking if it was 4 feet, there's, because I talked to the Arkansas Highway Department, 9 feet is the minimum width lane of traffic. And he said, if you have driven on that bypass at Harrison, you realize how dangerous that is. You need 12 feet. So
How wide
I
is the
would-
street, Patty?
I left those figures at home because I was not thinking it would be 6 to 8.
Well,
54 feet wide.
Okay, 54.
And then we measured a bus mirror to mirror, like a little over 9 feet. Then if a big pickup is parked along the side, figure it up.
Wouldn't be any room left to park.
That's what we're thinking. I question whether it, then are you gonna come back and say you're going to outlaw parking? Because a lot of people, especially if they have company, and when the ball games are in, we park way down on that street. There's so many considerations. This this is not needed. The street isn't a terrible street.
Well, I
You
think
need
it's-
other things in town. And a grant, just free money to plant flowers down the middle of the street.
There's a lot of those grants out there.
Can
Yes,
that be
ma'am.
used for something
We don't
else?
need
Is there any reason why that instead of putting a median down the center of the street, you couldn't move it to where between the sidewalk and the curb, put in your flower boxes down along there and not take up the street?
Yeah, it's not planters and flower, but it's basically just a median, what is it, 6 feet wide, right?
And we can narrow the median
Yeah.
even more if we had to,
So,
but
but, I,
Well, how tall is it gonna be? Is it just a
Flowers,
curb
shrubs.
median, or
It's
is
gonna be
it gonna
8
be
feet tall.
no,
tall enough to hide,
It's like a regular
to
curb.
hide a 5 or 6-year-old child if they decide to dart out?
Gotta do like 2 acres of shrubs, are they expensive? I don't know.
depends on the time of year, I think. Okay, yes, last question.
Is it possible to unvote the special meetings that didn't have to be done that day about Phillip Street? Is it possible to unvote that and look at it a little harder, let our council
Well,
members?
we haven't done anything yet, we haven't awarded.
You voted and.
You voted. I'm sorry, Charlie. Sorry, Charlie.
I'll get you.
I know it.
But no, the thing is that, we haven't signed any contracts or anything, and you know, one of the things
You
that.
accepted the bid.
Well, that's true, that doesn't mean that we are bound by blood, now does it?
Yep, your word.
Charlie, Mr. Garrett just said Fort Smith had done this to a street. And I believe Nexa has also, they took it out because of the problem, the upkeep and the problem.
it didn't.
And it did not slow traffic down.
Because there are crazy people out there driving. Okay, I've got one more question and then we'll adjourn. Yes, ma'am.
Is it too late to rewrite the grant for another beautification project?
I'm not a grant writer.
Yes, highway department.
Won't hurt to, we'll ask. Okay, appreciate it. Oh, I would like to say that I appreciate the comments. No one got real rowdy. I appreciate that. You were respectful. That's great. You did not talk over everyone. That's wonderful. But, you know, remember, and, you know, I think that I offended, Ms. Loftus when I said that people need to educate themselves about city government. Because there's a lot of misinformation out there that, you know, like, move this money to here, that money to there. It's pretty well restricted.
educated on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty
I'm glad we're all getting
Yeah,
educated.
so, I mean, and that's, everybody makes mistakes. I make a mistake, yeah, you can see me
We're
fess up.
human.
So, but I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned.